Hello everyone, welcome to All My Tricks. In this video, we'll be creating a simple React application and we'll do a basic setup for i18next JavaScript library. So first of all, we need to see what are the commands and what are the libraries we need to use in this application. So we need to use this yarn create or npx create to create a React application, and we need to use these four libraries which will enable internationalization in this React application. And for that we need to use this yarn add command, or we can use npx install command. Okay, now let's create one React application. To create React application, we need to use this command npx create react half. Then we need to use the application name, let's say React Internationalization. Now let me open this project in the Visual Studio Code. Now if you see the package.json, we need to install those four libraries. So for that, let me open terminal. Let me clear all this thing. And I have copied that command. Let me paste here. Let me press enter. Okay, so those four libraries are added to this project. Okay, now let me run this application. Npm start. So it will listen to 3000. Okay, so it is showing the default web page for the React application. Let me remove all this thing. Okay, so in the app.js I need to remove everything, and here later we will be designing our web page. And let me remove the unnecessary files which are not required for us. So let me remove app.js. I can remove logo. Okay, now it is removed, but it is giving some error app.js. Okay, let me remove all this thing. Okay, now it is fine. Let me check. Yeah, so it is now showing blank. Now let me create one folder, liv. So in this folder I need to create one file called i18n.js file. So this file basically it will include or it will have the code for initializing the i18next library, JavaScript library. So let me do that. So let me import i18n from i18next package. Okay, now let me import language detector from i18next browser language detector. So here I need to import language detector. Now I can have, this is capital, I can have import, then from React i18next package I need to use init React 18 next. So I'll be explaining all this thing after some time. Import backend from i18 http backend. Okay, now in this application we can enable the internationalization feature. So let's do that. i18n dot, so I'll be using one middleware use. Let me do like this, use, that is backend. We'll be fetching all the languages from this package folder. Okay, so we'll not be using any backend server, so we'll be mocking that backend server from this public folder. So let me remove all these files which are not required for us. Let me have only index.html. Okay, now let me have, okay, I'll come to this part later. So this backend is basically using backend will be loading all the translation from this public and locals folder. Okay, let me create this one folder I need to create, that is locals, and inside this locals I can have different folder, like for English en I can have, similarly I can have, let's say, Hindi folder, similarly I can have Spanish folder. So we can separate all the languages in different folders. Okay, so Spanish will be es. Okay, now let me have another middleware, that is .use language detector. Okay, so this language detector, it detects the user language. Okay, it will detect user language. Now let me use another middleware, that is init react i18next. So this library basically we are passing, so pass i18n instance to react i18next library. Okay, now what I need to do, now I have used all the middleware I have used. Now I need to initialize. So for that I need to use this .init method. So in this .init method there are lots of properties you can check in the documentation. So one of the properties is fallback language, that is by default it should be English, let's say en. Let me check the spelling fallback line. Okay, fine. Now I need to use this backend property which will tell from which location we can get the languages, and also maybe if we are using some backend servers, here we need to put the path, or we need to put the API or endpoint we need to put. So here locals, so basically by default it will check the public folder, and in the public folder it will check the locals, and based on our language preference it will go to the each folder. Let's say I have selected Hindi, it will go to the Hindi folder and it will pick the specific file. Okay, so locals, here we can specify the language. Okay, so we no need to do anything. So this library will take care everything. Just we need to specify the location .json. Then another thing I need to use interpolation. So interpolation has different thing, but we are not going to use anything because React supports default interpolation. So we no need to do anything. Escape value we need to, so default escape value is true, but React is taking care all this escape thing, so we'll pass is false. Then we can use load, so it will load just language. We are not using any other feature, so we'll be using language only. Okay, so this basic setup is done. Let me put some comment here. So this is basically Initialize i18n. Okay, so now basic setup is done. Let me run this application again. I think it is in running state only. Okay, any error is there? No. Let me check in inspect mode as well. Console, yeah, everything is working fine. Initial setup is done now. In the next video we will be creating one navbar, and in that navbar we can have one select box, and in that select box we can have list of languages, and based on the user selection it will change the language in the website. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching this video. See you in next video.